Good morning from Yami BTV. Wishing you all well today. Sending splendid love your way as usual. And as the sun comes out, it's time for another video. And being attacked by two flies in the last hour, and it's doing my nutting, mate, because I don't want to kill them. And also, someone's making faces at me. But we're going to go straight into it. And Mark Morehouse from Sheffield, big you up, my boy, rang me on Friday or Saturday and asked me, Yami, do you remember a geezer called Russell MACVICAR? There's a blast from the past, Yami. I ain't heard that name for quite some time. Injected memory lane stuff inside of me straight away, which is why I always ask you lot, or remind you lot, to mention certain names, because I've got so much stored up in my head. You can't remember everybody. But as soon as you mention a name, it's amazing how much stuff that you can remember and where it was, etc., etc. Now, Mark Morehouse tells me that he appeared on the James English show the other day, Russell MACVICAR. I haven't seen it yet. He also said that he himself, Mark, done time with Russell way back in the day, and he was a nice geezer, etc., etc. But straight away, the memories, good and kind of bad stories, reignite themselves inside of me, and I was away with him, Russell. Shirley Temple, gold locks, long hair all the way down, the kind of young Rolling Stone, good looks kind of geezer looking. And I had my ponytail back then as well. So the first thing that I remembered, it's mad, isn't it? Is that during this time, I think I mentioned quite a lot of people were there at this time, right? Paul Sampson, Doc from Manchester, me, Russell, and a geezer called McCreary, an Irish geezer, meant to be a big time drug dealer as well. Now, we was playing that during that time. It was all about the sporting stuff. I was a nutter back then. We know that already. The football stuff. Russell was a padded tennis star. He was in the elite group. Like I used to play Curtis Warren at sponge padded tennis. Ronnie O'Sullivan, who was another big player like Curtis. Them games could go either way between those three, right? But Russell, during this time, there was a geezer called Hutton. I forgot where he's from. Might have been from Birmingham, but he was top seed, right, with a padded tennis. And Russell always used to push him close when the tournaments came up, but he'd always lose by 21-19, 21-18 juice. So he was getting closer and closer. So I used to wind him up sometimes and say, but you're not number one, so you can't say that you're the greatest of all time, Russell. One time, the tournament came around again on a bank holiday. That's how sometimes sporting events come up during those bank holiday periods. Now, I was at the net this time watching him, and a bit of a wind-up. He used to wind me up certain times and bring out the best of me. But obviously, I wanted Russell to win. And on this day, because I was saying, you've got to, it's today, now or never, Russell. And on that day, he took the title. Right? Yeah. He took the title, and Hutton was absolutely livid because he'd never been beaten in a tournament, right? So Russell he got the mantle. So we were celebrating afterwards. Now, Russell was a man who had everything organised on a wing, very polite, respectful, and a proper old school kind of gangster with gentleman ways, right? That's the best way to describe him, right? He was also a manager of the football team. It's caused him loads of problems with people saying, yes, I want to play if you don't let me play. And he used to keep cool during all of it. And you have to be thick-skinned to be a manager of a football team in jail, right? So that was Russell. Like, he used to organise the big ooch parties, and you'd have about 20 or 30 people in the cell and that kind of stuff. That geezer was there as well, the one that got the helicopter out with Johnny Kendall and Sid Draper. I forgot his name, Tony. Could have been Tony. I think I spoke about him before. He was there. So I remember they had a big party for me. Everyone was drunk, paralytic, right, in one big room, just as I was being released. But before that, now, as usual, you're always going to have a couple of big bullies on the wing. And obviously, I was close to Russell and Paul Sampson, the names I just mentioned as well. There was this lady, right? She was a member of staff, and she was meant to be having an affair with another inmate who a lot of us thought really was a big bully. He used to get drunk and want to offer people out. He had a couple of fights before and probably got the better during those fights. A real big lump now. When the lady, the staff worker, used to come on the wing to see him, right? So I said, I think something was going on, but I never really paid it no mind. But she always used to want to stop and talk to me, and like a a little child thinking, oh, Yummy, maybe she likes you and not him, that kind of stuff. It passed through my mind anyway, but I didn't want to tread on no one's toes. But she come on the wing and start talking to me, and I used to see him looking at the corner of his eye, and I was thinking, oh no, he's not going to start on me soon. You know what my mind was like. But I was expecting it. And one of those days, we was all down getting our dinner. There was a big group of us. There was a table where all the food was out. Russell was there and that kind of thing. I could smell the alcohol straight away, right? And he walked up to me, and she was standing there, and he said, listen, you stay away from her. I'll do this, I'll do that, and do that. No. You can't talk to me like that, especially in front of a crowd now. I looked at him and I said, listen, Fatso, when you're ready, I said, you take a swing, yeah? Until then, just hold your mouth. You know, stuff, you know, when people talk to you, you don't want to, you're going to drop down in everybody's estimation if you're just going to let him talk to you like that, right? So, those are the times when I really come out of myself, man. I don't like it. There's something about being picked on that I don't like, especially when I really haven't done anything, right? But I begin to believe that she set it up a little bit as well, because I wasn't trying it on with her, right? So it got to bang up. And he's following me around the landing, and I'm just walking, stopping and saying, when you're ready, swing. But it's bang up time. So the door's going about to slam, and there's screws around, listening. I'm just standing there looking at him like that. They're all looking at me, Russell and all that lot. So, but the door's banged up. It can't kick off that night. So all night, I'm on my bed, right? I'm on my bed. I'm thinking, first thing in the morning, he's gonna come for me, right? So I better get ready. So as soon as the door opened in the morning, I put on my trainers, started doing them up tight, put on my prison tracksuit, and I was right. When the door opened, he was at the door, and everybody was out on the landings early morning, right? So everybody knew what was going down now. Straight away, you get down there into that room now. Yeah, all right. You know I'm gonna come, right? So we're walking down. It's like the Gladiator Arena again. Everyone's walking, and people are shouting up. There's a geezer called Richie there as well. Russell used to do the boxing pads with every morning. Another good geezer, right? So people say, don't hot it up. Let them go in there. And I'm thinking, oh fucking hell, man. You're a happy person. You don't like people disturbing the peace. You don't like that. And then you've got horrible people who just want to start out of nothing to upset your day and night, if you get what I mean. So we're walking to the room. As we get there, a couple of Samo was coming down there to hold the door. Samo was watching me thinking, I wonder if he's a bit big for Yummy like that, right? But we knew I was at my physical peak at that time. But I was thinking, I've had enough of this geezer, man. But before I got to the door, imagine that, he banged me in the mouth. So I thought, and I could smell alcohol on him first thing in the morning, which told 1-0 to me, because I was thinking on the way there, you Dutch courage, you needed to drink to fight me. This is what I'm thinking. But I got a bang in the mouth. Like that. Didn't faze me, right? So we've gone into the room, 3 or 4 people, some are outside holding the door. Straight away, I've thrown the kitchen sink in. Now, he's got a massive head, this geezer, right? So I'm big time drug dealer as well, apparently. So I threw the kitchen sink in straight away. He didn't land one punch in, right? But I couldn't knock him out. I was just falling all over the place. We went on back to the walls. And I got a ponytail. So halfway through the punching, he grabbed my hair. Never have long hair when you're in prison in that environment. It's always going to be a weak, vulnerable spot for you when you get into fights, right? But the bell went as he got like that. I got a FUD as well. I'm just thinking, you know what I mean? But the screws were all coming and that kind of stuff. So it got separated. Samuel was going, oh, hey, listen, and broke it all up. But we're nicked, right? I go down the block, right? I think I got a bruise on my eye. I wasn't too happy about it all, to be honest, man. So we got what we done down the block, right? He tried to call me out the window. I wasn't listening. I didn't want to talk to him. So I was thinking, you know what? When we get back to the wing, because I think Russell and them was upset because they didn't want to lose me for the football team. Because, if you get into a fight, 2 people, you might get separated off the wing now. We'll come back straight away. The cleaners are out, Russell, everybody, there are a few people, right? So I come back in there, lock my cell. The other geezer's gone to his cell. Come up on the landing. There was a couple of Geordies as well. So I get on with Billy Charlton. He likes me, Billy Charlton. Another couple of Geordies as well. I forgot their names. Now, I came round by the stairs, and I'm thinking to myself, he's going to challenge me. So, you know what I mean? I was thinking, I'm not going to have no round 2 with a straight knife because it takes too long. And plus, he's got a big head. I'm not going to be able to knock him out. This is what I'm thinking, right? So I'm thinking if he troubles me again, I'm either going to draw it or I'm going to throw some water up, some hot water. I don't care. Well, I didn't care at that time, right? Sad to say. Now, around the landing, he walks up. Predictably, I'm leaning on the railings like that, looking at him. But Doc from Manchester, I'd already filled up the bucket and put it down by the side. And Russell saying to me, Yami, don't stab him. Why don't you just have the right? I said, I'm not having no second straight and it takes too long. Russell going, Yami, don't stab him, you know. You ain't got long left. I said, no, I'm going to throw that. I'm going to throw that. Doc and that was just looking and, you know what I mean? It was just shaking the rest, going, no, Yami, don't do it that way. So he done the predictable thing. He walked to the door, gone into Billy Charlton's cell, and he looked at me and he said to me, he goes, your punches never hurt me, Yami. Anytime, you know, like today, I said, well, your 5 stone every enemy. And I said, your punches never hurt me either. And I said, anytime you want it, you just call me and blah, blah, blah. Tutted. You're not worth it. Blah, blah, blah. Went in there. So they all looked at me and said, yes, Yami, got the upper hand there, my boy. But, you know, sometimes during that life, you know, when it's definite, you know, that my mind can, you know, jump into that mode there of that kind of stuff. Now, going with Russell, right? What sticks out in my mind is, well, such a cool geezer. Russell, do anything for anyone, right? Dangerous geezer as well. One day, my thoughts on him, because what you find with gentleman geezers is some people could think they can't have it, or they won't fight back, or, you know what I mean, they're not real serious killers kind of thing. And then one day, everything changed my mind with that. Can't talk about it because I don't want to get nicked, but I'm saying one thing happened one day. It's really serious. But at night, I was thinking, wow, I knew that he could switch. His eyes change again. You know what I mean? People underestimating people. But anyway, the tournament that sticks out in my mind was the 5-a-side. Because during them days, it was into prison wing 11-a-side. And my style of football is, you know, left foot to right foot, swing this way, that way. You know, run at people and that kind of stuff. Not always dribbling and that kind of thing. But Russell always used to say to me, I believe you're the greatest clinicalist finisher up front that I've ever seen, Yami. Because I used to do it, make it kind of look simple, swing it that way, and then bury it in the bottom corner on the big pitch. But the 5-a-side now, we never had the best team. So, you know, different rounds to get to the final. So I think there was me, Marlon from Derby, Marcel from Manchester, Russell, and me, right? 5-a-side and a substitute. So we didn't have the best team, but I was the man. Give the ball to me and I'll do the rest. So each round that went by, every time the ball came to me, bang, boff, any angle, everything was going in. So we got to the final, and predictably, there was the best team in the tournament, which was Elroy Seaton, Anthony Clare, and Trevor from Sheffield as well. Could have a right round, knocked out a lot of people as well. Anthony, right, great footballer as well. Dalton Grant, for goodness sake. I think Marcus Clark, Mark Darkers might have been around at that time, or Liam, I forgot him from Manchester as well. But the side, the way they pass the ball around, you're not going to get the ball. Like, but I always have arguments with Russell on the football pitch, right? Russell's an adamant chess player as well. He could do a bit of everything, Russell. Now, we got to the final, and Russell said to me, now it's your time. You produced the goal. I go, yeah, but we can't. I'm not going to keep getting the rub and the green. Everything's going in. You're just giving them, you lot are sitting back, giving the ball to me, and I'm swinging this way. You know, powerhouse them days there, right? Conan the Barbarian was there as well from Bermondsey, right? Good stuff as well. Mark Epstein's mate. So, what happened again? So we got to the final, and I'm there, and he's cheering me up, Russell. If you prove it today, Yami, you prove it today, because you have proved it all the way through the tournament. Right, the game kicked off, 1-0 down. Yami, bang, bottom corner. When I tell you these finishes were top class, even the gym screw would say to me, Yami, boy, it's different grade. Every time they went in front, we got to 4-4. I got to 4-4. And we only had 4 shots on target, right? Much better team than us. And in the end, we couldn't win. We got done. It got to 6-4, 7-4, 8, and then the whole prison, you know, like in the gym, you know, every single goal that goes in, I'm looking at Russell and thinking, oh, it's just the way it goes, you know what I mean? And every single roar is like another dagger in your heart. There's no winner's medal at the end of it. So that was my last memory of Russell. And imagine that I was supposed to do it. I hope he forgives me. I went to do, if you got to do it anyway, let's see if he gets in touch. But What was I going to say? When I got released, he's a great writer as well, Russell, creative, right? Right. So anyway, when I got released, right, he watched me get released on that one. That was before I got the 13, right? I was talking all mad then and about guns, and when I get out, and he was saying, Yami, don't do it. You're going to regret it for the rest of your life. I said, I'm changing the crime thing. I'm going to start doing this and that. He goes, no. Right, like I said, they had a leaving party for me, right? So when I was being released, he wanted me to go on a mission for him in the first 48 hours, like to go around his mum's and do something. I didn't do it. Right, I got captured to that life back straight away, running about like a nut for 6 weeks. And then eventually I thought, you couldn't even go and do that for Russell. I got round there after 6 weeks. When I went through the door, all hyped up, lively, yeah, Rosie. His mum just told me off completely. She said, now you shut up and you sit down. You've taken a fucking piss. I just went like that. Yeah, mum, all right. I just felt my hands like a little baby. Yep. Everything she said was yep. But I'd got it done in the end, right? Lovely mother, Russell got, right? So that was that. And then I can remember getting a phone call off him. And then I remember I was in jail and I saw something come up on the crime watch, right? He was in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. And dude, he was a very, very dangerous man, Russell, as well. Done all crimes on his own. He got a £500,000 painting, I think, with that burglar, Peter Scott, legendary Peter Scott, who was one of the greatest gentleman burglars of all time. I done a bit of business with coins with Peter Scott. Russell gave me that link. Rest in peace, Peter Scott, right? He got a painting. It was all round the Russell, but on this video, I was watching Crime Watch or something like that. I was saying in my mind, that's Russell. He's on the run. Again, meant to escape from prison over the side, and he's robbing vans or banks or something. And I said about a parcel of money, a cash or something, he just took it out of the box or something like that. I remember seeing him on a bike or moving into an alleyway, and I was thinking, go on and bet it, Russell, they're going to catch you one day. Never heard from him again. And then I heard that he got another big sentence. And now, today, I'm hearing that he's about. So maybe we could get him on Yami BTV. He's got loads of stories to share, and met everybody that was anybody that was ever had to have been met. And me and him had that, you know what I mean? Probably, I say, probably one of the nicest bad men, gentlemen of all time. So Russell, if you're watching this, son, I hope you like the way that my memories remembered all that. Loads of love to you all. Coming up more stuff today.